This is a deep dive into the Dead by Daylight world. If you're a big fan of DBD, I suggest you look at the lore a little bit, learn a little bit. Some of these killers have had horrible pasts, and I feel like you might feel sorry for some of these killers, like Hillbilly. So much so that you would give him the kill, who knows. This is the story, this is the tale of Dead by Daylight. Grab your popcorn, grab your mother. This is gonna get crazy. And it's time to put on my serious voice. Let's get it. The story of the Trapper. Evan Macmillan idolized his father. It wasn't just because he was destined to a great fortune. It was the way he ran the estate. Raised under his firm hand, the production was always high and the Macmillan estate prospered under father and son. As Archie Macmillan's mental health slowly disintegrated, Evan protected him from the herd who wanted a piece of the fortune. No matter what his father asked of him, Evan would do. When Archie Macmillan finally snapped, Evan became his enforcer in what would become known as the worst mass murder in modern history. They never proved that Evan led over 100 men into those dark tunnels before detonating the explosives and sealing them to their fate. The tale of the Macmillan estate is a tale of wealth and power gone very wrong. How many victims fell to the hand of father and son is unknown. No record is ever made of what became of Evan Macmillan. His father is another unsolved puzzle. Found trapped in the locked basement of his own warehouse, starved and abandoned. The story of the Wraith. Philip came to his country without anything than hope for a new beginning. He was happy as he got offered a job at Auto Haven Wreckers, a small scrapyard where bribed cops turned a blind eye for the somewhat shady business that took place. Philip didn't care. He had seen criminal activity up close in his homeland. As long as he didn't get involved, he let things be. He just fixed cars and handled the crusher, something he did really well. A car went in and a small metallic cube came out. It was not until one gloomy day that he, just by accident, saw some blood coming from one of the uncrushed cars. As he opened the trunk, he found a young man gagged and with tied hands and panic-filled eyes. Philip freed the man, who only managed to run 10 feet before Philip's boss stopped him and slit his throat. As Philip demanded answers, he got explained to him that he'd been nothing more than a simple executioner, as more or less every car had a soul in them, as this was a service the scrapyard provided a certain clients. Philip snapped and went ballistic. He threw his boss in the crusher and let it slowly compress. As the head stuck out, Philip grabbed it and pulled the head and spine out of the body. Then he left and was never seen again. The story of Hillbilly. The son of wealthy landowners Max Thompson Sr. and Evelyn Thompson. This unnamed boy was an unwanted child who was hideously disfigured. He was shut away from society. So ashamed of their son, they bricked him off into a room and fed him through a hole in the wall. When the boy escaped, he took his revenge savagely and terribly, slaughtering the parents that had tortured him instead of raising him. After the deed was done, he continued to live his life at the farm, taking out his deranged violence on the animals that was allowed to run free. As he finally broke free from his shackles, he ran through the cornfields, chasing and slaughtering whatever he could find. They never found the bodies of Max and Evelyn, but they did find tortured and disemboweled animals all over the farm. Coldham Farm was quickly settled and the land split up and sold off. There was never a buyer for the farmhouse. Perhaps it was the sound of the chainsaw you could hear throughout those hot summer nights. The story of the nurse. Sally Smithson came to town with dreams of children's feet and laughter in a wooden home built by her husband Andrew. Life came not with smiles but with plans of destruction. Andrew worked as a lumberjack, a job with its perils. One day Andrew's foreman to pay Sally a visit. Forever changing her life, she was alone. Without food on the table and no other options, Sally had to find a way, but the only employment she could get was at the Crotos Pen Asylum. Nobody sought employment there unless they were in dire need. Just like Sally, without any education, she started at the bottom doing the hard night shift. Over the years, her mind has reached its limits. 2 decades of seeing horrid things that violate the eyes. Memories that are replayed every night. Being abused verbally and physically by people without limits. Sally saw insanity from the outside just to catch it herself. Finally, she could not take it anymore, and concepts of purification emerged inside her. She did what she felt was necessary. As the morning staff arrived one day in September, they found over 50 dead patients lifeless in their bed, along 4 other staff members also dead. Only Sally had survived the night, but her mind was gone, rocking back and forth non-stop, Exactly what happened is only known by her, but it seems that some of them had been choked as they had marks around their necks. They got her into an ambulance, but the ambulance never reached the hospital. It was found crashed in a nearby wood as the staff dead and Sally nowhere to be found. Alright, so that is the end of part 1. Yeah, my reaction to all of this is I feel like they could make a movie out of every single killer. I love most of the stories I've heard. Some are just gruesome and I want to take no part of it. There's a few more hidden gems like the Doctors, Plague, Hag, and some others. But yeah, these stories are very, very good, and I've shortened the hell out of some of them. That is the end of the video. Subscribe, like, comment, subscribe and like.